How long would Itachi's prison sentence be? Imagine being a child soldier, trained from birth to be the perfect killing machine who ends up wiping out his entire clan in one night. Sounds like the plot of a dark thriller, right? Nope, that's just another Tuesday in the Naruto universe. Today we're asking a question that's never been answered in Konoha court. How long would Itachi Uchiha's prison sentence be if he were judged by modern, real-world legal systems? Because, let's be honest, this man is either a mass murdering terrorist or the most misunderstood hero in anime history. Or, you know, maybe both. This is a story of secrets buried under secrets, where good and evil blur like a Genjutsu nightmare. We're about to dive into war crimes, family massacres, and a ninja espionage so deep that even the CIA would raise an eyebrow. Buckle up. Let's start with the crime that overshadows everything, the Uchiha clan massacre. On a single night, Itachi wiped out nearly the entire Uchiha clan, his parents, relatives, friends, and innocent children, with surgical precision. Only his younger brother Sasuke was spared. In real-world terms, this wasn't just a murder spree, this is genocide. Under international law, genocide is defined as acts committed with intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. The Uchiha clan? Check. The intent? While Itachi claimed he was ordered to prevent a civil war, his actions still meet the threshold. If tried in The Hague under the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, Itachi would face life imprisonment for genocide alone. But wait, it gets worse. This wasn't a solo operation. Itachi conspired with an external agent, Obito, aka Toby, to carry out the massacre. That makes it conspiracy to commit genocide, an additional charge. That could mean another life sentence stacked on top of the first. Yes, double life. That's a thing in legal systems like the US, where courts basically say, if you come back from the dead, you're going back to prison. Now, you might say, but Itachi did it to prevent a war. And sure, that sounds noble, but under real-world jurisprudence, especially the Geneva Conventions, preventing conflict is not a valid defense for mass murder. Otherwise, anyone could justify atrocities under the vague excuse of peacekeeping. Sorry, Ninja Jesus, you're not getting a free pass. But we're not done yet. Itachi was also an active member of the Akatsuki, an international terrorist group that abducted and murdered Jinchuriki to extract their tailed beasts. The Akatsuki's activities resembled a combination of terrorism, kidnapping, biological weapon trafficking, and assassination of heads of state. If we map that to the real world, that's like being part of a ninja version of Al-Qaeda mixed with Hydra. Under US federal law, specifically the Patriot Act, this would mean material support to terrorism, which is 20 years per count, conspiracy to commit acts of terror, which is life imprisonment, and kidnapping resulting in death, which is potential death penalty or life in prison. Even if Itachi didn't particularly kill every Jinchuriki, being a known member of the organization and participating in its operations makes him complicit. That's accessory to terrorism, and in most jurisdictions, accomplices are held to the same standard as direct perpetrators. And just when you think his list of felonies are already impressive enough to make a cartel boss sweat, there's more. Let's talk about medical crimes. That's right, Itachi knowingly carried an advanced, highly contagious terminal illness while continuing to engage in hand-to-hand combat, infiltration missions, and prolonged close contact with others. While Naruto's worlds never mention tuberculosis outright, Itachi's symptoms, chronic coughing, fatigue, hemoptysis, strongly mirror active TB, which in real life is an airborne infectious disease. In modern jurisdictions, knowingly spreading a dangerous disease without disclosing it, especially while fighting people face to face, is considered reckless endangerment, public health endangerment, and in some cases, biological assault. If this were 21st century Earth, he could be hit with charges under bioterrorism laws. Not even the CDC would want to mess with Mangekyo TB. And if that wasn't enough, let's sprinkle in grave desecration and illegal corpse usage for flavor. After his death, Itachi's reanimation via Edo Tensei technically puts the crime on Kabuto. But stay with me, Itachi actively retains full consciousness and chooses to remain animated to complete a mission. He willingly walks the earth using a stolen corpse, violating every natural law and moral code imaginable. In real world terms, this would be unauthorized use of human remains. A niche crime, sure, but one that's taken seriously under modern law. It's like Weekend at the Bernie's, but with more Genjutsu and fewer Hawaiian shirts. And yes, that's a stretch, but if we're judging ninja war crimes in the real world, no legal stone goes unturned. And let's not forget Itachi's time as an Anbu Black Ops assassin for the Hidden Leaf. Sure, that was technically legal under Konoha law, but many of his missions involved extrajudicial killings, espionage, and forced interrogations. In modern terms, that's high-key illegal. You can't just murder political dissidents and call it a Tuesday. That's a human rights violation, friend.
What are you doing? This is our mission.
Now, let's get spicy. Itachi didn't just kill, he psychologically tortured Sasuke for years using Tsukuyomi, an illusion so intense and made time feel eternal while reliving their parents' murder over and over. That is the definition of mental and emotional abuse with lifelong psychological consequences. Under many legal systems, especially in the EU, prolonged psychological torture is considered a war crime. Add that to the stack. Then there's the international espionage element. Itachi wasn't just murdering folks, he was spying on the Leaf Village for years, leaking information to Akatsuki while pretending to be a rogue ninja. That's textbook treason, and in many countries, treason during wartime is punishable by death or life imprisonment. Considering Konoha was in near constant war during his lifetime, yeah, he's not walking out of this with community service. By now, you're probably wondering, okay, but what about mitigating factors? The guy had TB and died young. Doesn't that count for anything? Well, let's break it down. Yes, Itachi was acting under orders from Danzo and the Konoha Council. Yes, he sacrificed everything to prevent a civil war and protect his brother. And yes, in many cases, acting under coercion can reduce a sentence, especially in military contexts. But courts also weigh proportionality, necessity, and the presence of alternatives. And brutally executing your own parents while traumatizing your sibling, that doesn't exactly scream minimal force. If anything, that adds premeditation to the list. He planned the massacre, coordinated with a rogue ninja, faked his defection, and used advanced psychological warfare on a child. That's not just following orders, that's Hannibal Lecter level strategic evil. But just for fun, let's add up the potential prison time like we're handing out bingo cards at a war crime trial. Genocide, life imprisonment. Conspiracy to commit genocide, life imprisonment. Multiple counts of murder, let's lowball it at maybe 50. 50 times 25 years each equals 1,250 years. Next up, psychological torture of a minor, 30 years. Terrorist affiliation with the Akatsuki, life imprisonment. Treason, also life imprisonment or death. Kidnapping, which is complicity in Akatsuki operations, 100 years. Espionage, 20 years. Use of psychological warfare, 25 years. Destruction of public infrastructure during Akatsuki battles, 15 years. Knowingly exposing others to a deadly disease, 15 years. And abuse of human remains and illegal reanimation, 10 years. Grand total, somewhere between 1,570 years and 7 life sentences minimum. And this is to me being generous. If we threw in every crime, violation of civil liberties, and psychological assault, the guy's sentence would make Madara blush. Heck, even Orochimaru would be like, bro, that's a lot. But here's the tragic twist. Despite all of that, despite the massacres, lies, and terrorism, Itachi might still be one of the most morally complex heroes in anime. His actions were horrific, yes, but he did them to prevent an even greater war. He was a weapon forged by a broken system, sacrificed by the very village he bled for, and hated by the brother he loved most. If there were a legal category for a tragic anti-hero with the world's heaviest burden, he'd get parole based on emotional damage alone. But hey, the law doesn't deal in feels, it deals in facts. And the facts say this: Itachi Uchiha is serving multiple life sentences in anime hell. But if you think this was bad, check out how long Doflamingo's prison sentence would be next.